My name's Rich Correll. I've spent my entire life in theatrics and I've lived in Hollywood my whole life, and my passion has been collecting science fiction, fantasy, and horror film memorabilia. And I'm happy to say that this collection has turned into the largest collection in the world. Here's two of the hero masks from Scream 2, and of course everybody familiar with those movies knows that this is what the murderer wears. Here's Freddy Krueger's hat and his razor glove from Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Well, everybody recognizes this because this guy put hockey masks on the map, not necessarily for a good reason. But this is Jason's mask from Friday the 13th Part 3. When I was a kid, I was really lucky because I was an actor and I landed a role as a regular on a show called Leave It to Beaver. And Beaver was played by a guy named Jerry Mathers, and he and I were like these huge horror movie fans. And we were at Universal Studios making Beaver. You wouldn't believe the stuff they were throwing in the trash. I was up there one day and I saw this head from a movie called Abbott and Costello Meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, laying in the trash. And I said to the guy, hey, can I take it? I was a 10-year-old kid. Yeah, sure. That's what started it. I still have that piece, by the way. Now this is interesting. This is a head of an orc from Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring that Peter Jackson gave me. Peter and I helped restore the 1933 King Kong together, and we're both huge film fans. And of course, I was a fan of the Lord of the Rings movies, so I said, hey, can you give me an orc? He said, well, I have a lot of those. So he sent me one, and that was really cool. I really like that. This is from Twilight New Moon. It's one of the background stunt heads for the werewolves. When Tim Burton made Edward Scissorhands, they made 5 pairs of Scissorhands, but only 1 pair that was actually metal. And here's the pair. These are Johnny Depp's Scissorhands. It's actually the metal pair, and there is a picture of him wearing this pair of gloves. Now here we have a slee stack from the movie Land of the Lost, and all of the apparatus is still inside of this head. I have a lot of stuff. Well, this tricycle may look like a harmless toy, but I assure you it's not. This is actually the tricycle used by Damien in The Omen to drive down the hall and then knock his mom off the banister and try to kill her. So it was used by a real evil kid, and it's a real evil tricycle. The most sentimental item that I have has nothing to do with horror movies. It's when I was a teenager, I happened to be incredibly fortunate to meet Harold Lloyd, the famous silent film comedian. During the 20s and 30s, he was literally one of the biggest stars in the world, and his trademark were those horn-rimmed glasses. And Harold Lloyd gave me his makeup kit before he died with all of his glasses. And I have a mannequin head, with the glasses on the mannequin head that he wore hanging on the clock in Safety Last, which is, of course, one of the most iconic photographs of the whole silent era. Now this is really fun. This is the hero baby that they used in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. So this is Brad Pitt as a newborn, really born as an old person, but this is the screen-used baby that they used in the scenes in the boarding house. Well, all of you superhero fans will recognize this. This is the head of the Green Goblin, actually one of the hero helmets worn by Willem Dafoe in Spider-Man 1. This is the receptacle that was in Robert Downey Jr.'s chest, and this is the heart, Iron Man's heart, that Gwyneth Paltrow tries to put in here without electrocuting it. And here is one of Iron Man's hands that all the beams shoot out of. This thing is made out of foam, so it's supposed to be metal, but it's not. Here's one of Ron Perlman's original face applications from Hellboy. It's all very, very thin foam, and they put it onto his face and then glued it on so he could talk and move, and it's also got the horns. This hand is one of the Thing hands from the Addams Family, the guy that creeps all over the house and runs around and does all the work. Now this is one of the hero deadites from Sam Raimi's early film, The Army of Darkness, and everybody loves this film. This is Boris Karloff's head in makeup from 1932 as the Mummy. Jack Pierce made him up. This is a head from Jeepers Creepers. That was a movie made about 5 years ago. So we have a brand new movie next to a real old movie. Collecting is still a lot of fun for me, and I think that the fact that so much of this stuff now has been, kind of identified as being extremely valuable, I think that's even more fun because it makes everything kind of a treasure hunt. And the treasure is really, really valuable.